Welcome to episode 39 of In the Lab. This week we're talking about the underdog effect in sports and in life. Today we're talking about the underdog effect and the story of the Winston-O Wolverines this year. But first I want to tell you a little story about the underdog and why you always want to be the underdog no matter what. In Malcolm Gladwell's David and Goliath, he talks about how David, in the classic fight, he wasn't the underdog. He was a slinger, and as the story goes, Goliath, he needed to be led by somebody telling that he was probably blind at the time. So you have a blind giant with a guy slinging a little rock that's going, and ballistics experts tested this to see how fast that rock was going, and it was like a handgun, somebody shooting a handgun. So it wasn't the David and Goliath as we think it was. David was actually favored. So, and then Gladwell also cites this study of Ivan Erguin Toft, the political scientist. He studied all world wars, any war that happened in the world where the one country was 10 times the size of the other country. And what do you think? The odds of the underdog there winning, the 10 times smaller country. Most people think, well, 90 or 100%, well, most of the time they lose. Well, not actually. 72% of the time, the bigger country wins. But think about that. That means 28% of the time, the underdog, the 10 times smaller country, wins. Now, he also did the same study now, but studied the world wars where the underdog now fought unconventionally, tried in a different way, fought in a different way, and guess what? Now the odds are flipped. And the underdog is the favorite, 60-40. So, I usually tell that story to my volleyball team every year because we're not the favorite. We're not the number one team. But if you can teach people that what you need to do is act like the underdog, to fight unconventionally, to play defense unconventionally, and to play offense unconventionally, or in business, to run your business unconventionally. If you do that, you are gaining the odds in your favor. And so this year, my team, 4-5 after the season, not a great team, but last year we had a stellar year. We won cities, so you can't expect to have an amazing year after. We're the underdog in pretty much every game we play. First game of playoffs, we beat Riffle, who had just beat us the last game of the season. And it reminded me of the 2008 New York Giants playing the New England Patriots. Remember that game? New England, oh my God, New England, they hadn't lost the game all season. In the last game of the season, they beat the Giants. Think about that. You're playing the team that is the heavy favorite. You're not going to win. But the Giants, they didn't fight conventionally. They had Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And guess what? The underdog won. So my little team, a couple weekends ago for cities, we go into a game where we're the heavy underdog. Miller, we'd never beat them all year long. But for some reason, the boys fought unconventionally. We played better defense, and we ended up the winner. It was brilliant. Lastly, that doesn't happen out of anything. If you believe you're the underdog, your attitude changes. We were at provincials last weekend, and we just couldn't get it together. It was almost like we were just done playing. But then in the final match against St. Mary's, the best team there by a long shot, we took them to about 23-20, and we had the entire gym basically yelling for us. And it was that moment of the boys actually put on a show. They tried so hard. They didn't end up winning. But it was one of the best losses I've ever incurred just based on their attitude, and they fought like the underdog. So, in life, business, sports, whatever it is, fight like the underdog. Do something unconventional. Do things differently. If you do, you might just flip the odds in your favor. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Be a speed of journey.